We're on a mission to talk to the 100 leading marketing minds in the automotive space. I'm Andrew Street, owner of DealerOMG.
Matthew Davis here, Chief Marketing Officer at TradePending. Why are we doing this? Well, we like automotive, we like marketers, and we like retail automotive marketers. Our goal here is to give you the insights into what these leading marketers are thinking, planning, and doing.
Are you one of the countless dealers who probably has several stores working with countless vendors, OEM programs, and interested in building out some of your own marketing capabilities in-house, maybe potentially even talking about building some software to help automate some things or to build out a CDP? This is a cool conversation for you. Talking with Gary Ladue with Modern Automotive Group, who's building out a lot of these things in-house on the dealership side. Enjoy this conversation. I'm Andrew Street. This is the 100 Marketers Project. All right, Gary, give us a quick heads up on who you are, where you work, and what your responsibilities are.
So I'm in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. I work with Modern Automotive Network. I've been here for almost 9 years. I'm the marketing director. We do almost everything in-house except maybe deploy our digital media, but we're kind of transitioning into being able to do that ourselves. So it's good fun.
Did you start as the marketing director, or have you kind of navigated your way through like Porter all the way up to marketing director?
No, so I actually spent about 12 years in CPG before I came here. So I worked with Haynes, I worked with Mead. Prior to that, I worked in the window coverings industry. And so my first job here, my first job in automotive is as the marketing director.
Wow.
Yeah. But when I started, we were a team of like 4, and now we're a team of like 9. So
in the marketing, just in the marketing team?
Yeah.
And so how's that been? Did you help grow that team from 0 to you to the rest of the staff?
Yeah. So before I got here, they had 2 directors. One ran kind of traditional advertising, and the other one ran websites, social and digital media. Both of those people left the organization, so they just decided to fold it under one entity to kind of bring it all together. So that's how it started. And so over time, we've built the capabilities internally. We've built processes. We've kind of laid the foundation and then added people as we've needed them.
And what's that team composition look like?
Sorry?
What's the team composition look like today?
So we have kind of a digital experience lead who's really in charge of websites, administering all of our digital accounts and our CDP. We've got another digital lead that's really primarily analytics and email. We've got a social media lead. We've got a creative manager who really focuses on compliance, doing creative and getting creative from other sources like our agencies. We have a community relations manager. We have an SEO lead. We have a content assistant, and then we have another assistant we're hiring for now that will do nothing but help us administer budgets and co-op programs.
I was hoping you were going to say prompt engineer for AI, but that's also good too.
Well, I mean, we're using AI. You know, we've dipped our toe in the water. Like we use it generatively for social media content, and it's great for, hey, I can't figure something out. Let me just go ask AI. So everybody's kind of got access to an account that we set up and built our brand inside, and everybody can use it.
You know what I find, Gary? It's like people like you are building the same type of thing and solving the same problems that I do. It's like I've built out an agency, and it's just like continually hiring people that I hope are talented, that hope, maybe can speak automotive and they can speak digital marketing and translate that into English and come up with ideas. But it's like, okay, what else can we do from our end to help with dealerships' needs? And it seems like that's the team that you're assembling too, which is why I like these conversations, because we're pushing, similar rocks up the same hill. You mentioned that there's somebody who's overseeing and administering the CDP.
Yeah.
What does that look like?
Well, so January of 24, we started building our CDP, which took quite a few months. You know, it's no easy feat if you're not buying something off the shelf in automotive, and off the shelf works really well for a lot of instances for a lot of people, but we wanted something that we could compose ourselves. So we went outside of automotive, and getting automotive tech to work with outside of automotive tech isn't always the easiest process. And along the way, you know, we learned all sorts of things that slowed us down. Like, we need a data hygiene process before we just start dumping it into the CDP. So, you know, it took, like, would it have been easier if we just hired a CDP person and like they did it all beginning to end? Yes, probably. But we didn't want to do that, because if we got all the way down the road and it wasn't what we wanted it to be, well, now we have this person, you know, that we basically would have to let go. And we said, let's just build it ourselves. Let's figure out as much as we can. And when it gets so, you know, time consuming that we need a full-time person, we'll put a full-time person on it. And so we built it. It was built at some point last fall. We started activating early this year. We then put a pause on it because we wanted to add an activation layer, a piece of technology that allows us to do unknown shopper ID resolution. It does it probabilistically. The CDP we're using already does it deterministically. So now we have both ends of the spectrum kind of helping us stitch records together. And we wanted to be able to kind of deploy whatever kind of communication tactic we wanted quickly and easily. So we found a tech layer that we added on that we're now activating. And so I give you all that background to answer a short question with a long answer, because what that looks like is it kind of depends. You know, it's many hats. So, you know, there's 3 of us on the team that have learned the platform. I was kind of the lead on getting all of the data integrations, the vendor integrations. The other 2 people on my team were really in charge of kind of learning the platform so that we could build audiences and activate against it and all that, connect our accounts, do all the verifications, all those kinds of things. So now we're at a point where it's like, okay, we've got this activation layer. We're starting to ramp up that activity. What are we going to do from an organizational perspective? Are we going to hire a full-time person? Are we going to let the people who trained on it kind of become the leads and then backfill their roles? And so we're figuring all that out. It's been a pretty interesting journey.
Have you activated campaigns already? Like marketing messages to people?
Yeah, well, so we did, and then we shut them off because in the middle of all of it, we took pause to test something new. And we're about to start that test in the next week.
Does that make you feel nervous at all?
No.
Like you're hitting the launch button. Like,
no. One of the philosophies I brought when I started here was test for success. And so I've been here, you know, almost 9 years, and we've tested consistently, you know, every year. It was websites, it was agencies, it was different ad tools, it was trade tools, it was, I'd pick a card. Like, we've tested so much. And, you know, so here we are at this precipice of having like a platform that will allow us to activate whatever we want in-house. You know, everything except search. Like, the only thing we're not going to be doing in-house is search. And I don't know, maybe we'll be doing that in-house by next year, but like, we'll be able to do everything with the click of a button. And so I don't have a problem kind of hitting the brakes a little bit to say, let's make sure that this way that we're doing this with these people is the right way. You know, pausing, hitting the brakes, and then looking at alternatives and saying, maybe this is a better path. We're not in a rush. We're more in a steady walk to get to the right thing that works for us.
Yeah. How did that experience in consumer packaged goods and CPG shape what you're doing in automotive?
Well, I just think CPG is incredibly data driven, and not that automotive isn't data driven. It is data driven, but in CPG,
It's next level. It's academic level.
It's consumer data driven, right? Like if you're a company like a Hanes or a Mead, you're selling to the largest retailers in the nation, right? Whether they're e-commerce like Amazon or whether they are brick and mortar like Target and Walmart, or both. Like Walmart's e-commerce business is massive now, right? So when you go in to sell a program, you have to convince them why that program is right for their store. So you need to understand who the consumer is that you're targeting and everything about that consumer that is able to explain why. And then you need to be able to match that up with that consumer's in your store, right? So there's a very different approach kind of strategically on how you sell because of that. So you have to have the end consumer in mind at all time. You're designing a product, you're selling a product for an end consumer, but you also have to sell to the customer who's selling it for you. So it's B2B to C. You got to understand all the steps.
And then were you doing any like direct to consumer advertising too?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of complexity. Do you feel like there's more complexity in consumer packaged goods or in automotive?
I don't know that there's more complexity. It's just different. Automotive is like everything's a 30-day cycle. Almost everything is low funnel. It's like leads, right? Conversions. And in CPG, like there is elements of that. So if you have a big push because it's end of year or you want to move inventory down, maybe you run some kind of special in order to do that. But like generally speaking, in the categories I was in, there was a lot less of that kind of urgency. It was a lot more branding.
Were you ever asked to do any modeling for Hanes?
I was not personally, no.
Wow, that would have been really good though.
Yeah, not yet.
So how do you think about balancing building the brand around Modern Auto and all of your locations and building the brand awareness versus, hey, we actually just need the leads right now because we got to sell cars?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like no advertising is bad advertising, right? Like your brand is on everything, no matter what it is. So if you're pushing an incentive or you're pushing a service offer, it's still got your brand on it. So it's all branding. What it's not doing necessarily is bringing your value proposition to the surface, right? And so we try to take a percentage of our budget for every store every month and use it for brand messages. We're probably not doing as much as that as I would like, but you have to start somewhere. And so it's taken we change pretty slowly here, and it's not because people don't want change. It's just because we operate slowly. It's like, okay, let's do this and make sure it's okay. Then let's do this and let's make sure it's okay. So, when I started, we weren't really running a whole lot of brand messages, maybe a tiny, like 2% of budget or something like that.
Yeah.
And now it's, more like, okay, if we're going to do a media buy, then like 20 to 30% of that will be brand.
Okay.
And I'm sure the GMs are excited about it. Like, yeah, let's take out 30% of the lead gen and let's put that towards branding.
Right. I mean, like they get it, but when the market is tighter, which has become tighter, leads are harder to come by and everybody's got to work harder. So you will scrutinize everything. And like, I get it, people have pay plans tied to performance. And so spend against making sure that performance happens. Like, I get it entirely. But what I think the difference for us going forward is with the CDP, we should see a better conversion rate at a lower cost because we're really activating against engaged audiences and our first party data. And then from that, we can still use that same data to create audiences or segments to send value messages, brand value proposition messages. So it'll all end up, I think, better balanced as we really get completely ramped up.
That's cool. And I'm so curious about this stuff just because I'm about to go to NCM Clients and Friends Digital Success Workshop.
Formerly known as the artist known as David Kane.
Yeah. I think I might have added one too many words or two too many words in the title. But I'm going to go there and I'm going to be presenting about, part of it's going to be like unlocking your CDP and how to really deliver ads on those different audiences that you can generate. So I'm curious, like, and the way that I'm doing it right now, it's like, based on what the store needs, let's activate campaigns on that. And it's sort of more prescriptive based on, what's at the door. Do we need to do inventory acquisition or loyalty for service retention, or do we need to push a specific model? And so I'll go after people driving those vehicles. What's attractive, like that you want to really unload with CDP audiences?
Oh, well, you want to be as relevant as possible. So for me, like, if we're gonna run incentives as an example, I don't want to just buy like random Google or Facebook audiences that say, here's all the people who are in market for a car. Instead, what I want to do is create a segment that says, tell me the people who are shopping for this exact model, right? I want to build that audience, and then I want to send one-to-one communication to those people. One-to-one, albeit through a display ad, an email, a text, a direct mail piece. Oh God, I said direct mail.
Yes. Yeah, that's a great spot for direct mail right now.
Yeah.
Like
so if you
targeted.
can find the pieces and put them all together to be able to do those things, then I think you'll win, because it helps the low funnel, right? It helps leads, it helps conversion. But there's so many other things like, service. So for us, the marketing department is centralized. We run everything for all 17 stores. What we don't do is own service marketing soup to nuts. We do a little bit of support there. Like, we'll run advertising campaigns, digital campaigns for service, but we really just dabble in it a little bit. And so the stores kind of run all their own service marketing, and that's a huge budget. Like, annually, if we can eliminate that and do it all in-house, that's a huge savings, and the potential for us to run way more efficiently because we're using data that's been cleaned and put into the CDP, right? So like, you can go into the DMS here's an example. Like, you can go into the DMS, and there's going to be people that bought a car from us 5 years ago that do not own that car anymore, but the new car that they bought did not come from our network, but yet they're still sitting in our DMS. So like, if we run something for service or even for sales, there's a likelihood that those people are going to be included in that communication, right? And if it's for service, it's like, we're probably talking to them about a car they don't even own anymore. Well, not only is it irrelevant, but it makes us look ridiculous. So I think having that data cleaned up and doing those initiatives ourselves allow us to, 1, be really relevant, 2, not look stupid, 3, be more efficient, save more money. So like, for me, service is a huge one that's just like dangling out there. It's a big carrot for us.
And you started this project in January 24, and it's almost 2 years later. Do you feel like that's like a typical kind of learning and installation process to get to this point where you are?
I have no idea.
I don't either, right?
I have no idea. But we started way before January 24. Like, okay. we we started this conversation probably 4 or 5 years ago. And it was about like, hey, I'd like to be able to access our data in order to be more segmented, in order to be smarter about who we sent stuff to, right? Like that's what we did when we were in CPG, right? Like we could go to Kohl's. When I was at Haynes, my biggest customer was Kohl's. So I could go to Kohl's and say, hey, we're launching this new program. We'd really like to be able to give it a hard push at launch. What tools do you have available and what data do you have available? And they come back to us and say, you can run email through us, display on the website. You can do a mailer. You can be featured in the catalog. And by the way, here's the database of like everybody who's ever bought your product from us. We know the frequency of purchase. We can go in and say, give me the people who've bought less than X this year and send them this communication piece, right? In automotive, we couldn't access the DMS easily. I say the word easily because you can access it, but you can't access it easily, right? To be able to kind of analyze the opportunities. And you can kind of do it in the CRM, right? But like CRM data is a little bit messy. And
You're always working in spreadsheets, it seems like, yeah.
Yeah, for 100%. So like, now I'm like, okay, think of something. Just like think of some opportunity you've always wanted to go after. I'm like, yeah, we can build an audience for that,
Yeah, and we're getting to a place where you can, I know some stores that are doing this, and we've been trying to do this with more providers, but to run an agent that's able to just take a query and go through that data and generate the result. And then there's APIs into the SMS platform and the direct mail and other things, but it's like, okay, at least we have it on a spreadsheet now. Now all one of the 9 employees can take that and plug it in and start to run media against it.
Yeah.
All in an effort to be more relevant, and especially with like the things that are more expensive for that one-to-one outreach, which would be the phone call from somebody in the BDC. It would be a piece of direct mail. Or on social, you can get a little bit more broad, and it's like, okay, maybe we're hitting a few of the wrong people. It's just cost a penny. But like the reason I'm so interested in what you're doing to CDP is because I want to be relevant when I'm at Kansas City at this conference and presenting about it for what people are
trying to take all your ideas.
Yeah, I'm taking notes while you're talking.
Just call me when you're there.
He's like, write down the word activation. Use that.
Yeah. Okay, Gary, you're on speakerphone now. I'm gonna put you by the microphone.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's like, for us with this project, there's a lot of stuff on the horizon. Like, I think I speak in generalizations when I say like, we wanted a CDP so we could activate our data and like, but like the truth of it is we wanted a database, right? Like the CDP is the language, but like we wanted a database. I want a database of all of the data we have in one spot. And if you live in my market, I want you in my database, right? Because like you might not be buying a car today, but you might be buying one tomorrow. You might need service. You might need a car for your kid. You might need a car for a friend. Like whatever it is, like if you live in one of my markets, I want you in my database. Like that's the goal.
Do you feel like this pursuit has changed since you initially had it 5 years ago or 6 years ago while you guys were talking about activating on your own database? And it could have been like equity mining or data mining. Is it different than the conversation you guys are having now with the CDP?
Like the end. So the 2 big goals when we started this whole journey was 1, I want a database. 2, I need the ability to run business analytics on what's inside my database. Right. And like, I couldn't do either of those. Right. Like, I want to know what's there. I don't want to just fill it with stuff. I want to know what's there. And then I want to be able to do analysis on it so that I can learn more about my customer and I can come up with some insights that might give me an aha moment that says, oh, well, we should go after that person. That sounds negative. We should go after that person. Like,
I know what you mean.
But like, you know what I mean? Like, so here's an example. We get the database completely built. It's built. And we lay an analytics platform on top of it that allows me to slice and dice it by every single data field that's in there. Well, okay, that could be really valuable if you understand how to like dig through data and string together information in order to find insights, right? Like that's how you lived when you were in CPG. You did data analysis all the time. So that's really the goal. Build a database, be able to run analysis on it. And like you can kind of sort of step your way into the analysis of it now. Like if I come up with an idea, I can build that audience and then see how many people are in it actively, instantaneously, right? But like then you're kind of onesie twosieing it, right? Like I'm building an audience to see the size of the opportunity. I'm building another audience to see the size of the opportunity. Like that is pretty inefficient. Wouldn't it be better if you could just run the analysis that says, where's the opportunities?
Right?
I
love that. So get the data, let's get a database, get the data clean, be able to analyze it, and then be able to use it, right? It doesn't matter what marketing jargon or acronym you throw at it, CDP, ADP, OPP, like it doesn't, like that's ultimately the goal there.
Yeah.
What's pulling back broadly, what's working well for you guys with your marketing efforts? Anything?
I mean, that's not an easy answer because we've got 17 stores and every market is different. You know, like you live in North Carolina, so you know that Boone is a very different market than, you know, Charlotte.
Sure.
Right. And Winston's very different than Burlington. So, you know, what we found is we have a set of tools, a structure that we like with our paid search and our VLAs and our PMAX and our Facebook and everything combined. And we will jockey them on and off with those stores in order to figure out what works best, you know, and that's like an ongoing optimization that takes place every month.
That's fascinating. So you basically have a portfolio of places to make your investments or your bets, and you're just kind of fine tuning it based upon the market. That's really cool.
Are there things that you're doing? It sounds like the services is handed off in large part to vendors and done more agnostically at the store level. Yeah. Your team's really focused on new car sales, used car sales, branding, anything with service. Anything with like vehicle acquisition, things like that you guys are finding successes
now
with?
And then, not now and then we get the ask from the store, hey, I'd really like to drive trades. So we'll run a campaign for it, but we haven't found, one piece of tech, one thing that works better than anything else, but like email has proven to be pretty effective. If we're trying to like drive acquisition of vehicles, then email to our existing customers has proven to be the most effective.
Good old email.
Yeah.
I mean, it can work. And if it's super targeted too, like go after everybody who's driving our brand, whether or not they bought from us. That's what we're finding is like after 23 months of ownership, you're about to come in and get your first inspection renewal.
Yeah.
Hey, let's
well, it's like the sweet spot, right? Like you've owned the vehicle at least 2 years. Like if you've owned it for a year, you probably don't want to get an offer to trade it in, right? Like over 2 years, 2.5 is probably even more relevant. But like, yeah, if we're even with offer messages and stuff like incentives, we don't send those to like our entire database. We always cut that off at like somebody who's bought 2 years or more.
So you've teased some of this out already in terms of the work you're doing with CDP, but what else are you thinking about experimenting with for the next 4, 5, 6 months?
That's the primary focus. I'm not going to lie to you. We kind of have one eye on what else we'll do with AI. But for us, like that would be integrated with the entire database project. So it's kind of one and the same.
Have you been tinkering with like chat solutions using bots or AI?
No, I mean, we run
respond to
Car Now
leads.
chat on our whole network.
Okay.
You know, and it's fine. I mean, I think there's a lot of really good chat tools out there. We're pretty happy with what we have with these guys right now. So yeah, I think everybody's kind of, you know, eager to figure something out with AI. But like, we're not in a rush. You know, myself, the other directors and the owners, we've all been on multiple phone calls with multiple AI products, and we just haven't pulled the trigger yet, because it's like, let's really figure out what it is we're trying to achieve, right? Like, we now know all these capabilities. Let's figure out what it is we're really trying to achieve, and then find who fits that best.
Yeah, and it's tough too, handing off such a nuanced conversation to AI. It has your brand, it has Modern on it. It needs to be, warmly received, or at least maybe believable by the customer, and have a topical conversation where if they're having challenges with credit and getting challenges, with the down payment and things like that, let's stop talking to them about this new F-150 and let's kind of make sure that the chat's handling that customer for, what situation they're in right now.
Yeah.
So I get the apprehension to just go all in.
Yeah.
For some stores,
and you could go big with it. Like, you could bring in, an AI voice to receive incoming or to do outbound. You could brand it, you could tell the world that they're going to be talking to AI, right out of the blocks, so that they know. And, then it's no surprise. Then it's like, oh, I'm dealing with AI. Like, you could brand it and make a thing out of it. You could be like, here's our new modern AI assistant. Right. It's going to help you quicker, blah, 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 whatever it is. Like, you could go all in on it. There's companies you can do that with now. Like, we know who they are, right? I just think we're just figuring it out still.
Cool. I think that's so fascinating, in that, where are we going to get to a point where you have to say things are AI generated, or AI conversations, AI voice, or do you not do that, or do you go the approach you're talking about, which I think that's really fascinating, just saying, like, this is AI, you're working with AI, you should love it, right?
I mean, if we were going to do it as an organization, I'd want to brand it. Like, I don't know. Here's Dorothy. She's our new AI assistant. When you call, you're going to speak to Dorothy. Like, she's
a savage negotiator, but she's
yeah. So, I mean, and outside of that, like, we launched a new group site earlier this year. We did that with Auto Genius, and so all their sites are edge technology. They're hyper fast, and so we've got that tuned and running, and we're just getting ready to start pushing traffic to it with media. So we haven't been running any media to it at all yet, and I'm eager to see what happens once we do that, because we get leads off of this site every day, and we have no media on it. And so what happens, when we start pushing thousands of more visitors there? Is that going to convert as well as we think it is? I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be fun to figure that one out.
It's cool. And they're fast and dynamic websites too, that those guys pump out. I've worked with a handful of them, and what we're finding, it's like, they're great with vehicle acquisition, for recruiting, techs, salespeople. They're good with pushing pre-owned inventory and just chunking it all together and having big swaths of, segmented inventory for different audiences.
That's exactly what we're going to start with. Is we're going to run Facebook AIAs with just used inventory, because it's shared across the whole network. And it's all aggregated on the website.
Whatever, you can boast 4,500 vehicles in stock, just beat down any warehouse with, just a big footprint that you guys have.
And we keep it skinny on that site. Like, we haven't layered in a bunch of stuff we don't need. The CTAs are simple and clean. The VDPs are clean. There's no DR tool. Hey, are you interested in this? Yes. Okay. Fill out your information. And then it goes to the store where the inventory is located. Done deal.
That's going to be a really fun experiment to see shake out.
Yeah. Pretty intrigued by that one.
Gary, any conferences you've got on your radar coming up?
Yeah, I'll be at the Modern Retail Conference in November down in Florida. And I'm a member of the CXO group that meets the day before that conference. So I'll go down for the CXO meeting and then do that conference. And then, of course, on the tails of that, early next year is NADA.
The big dance.
Yeah.
Cool.
I don't do as many, when I first started, I used to try to go to every conference I could, but, it's just harder and harder to get out of the office because we're busy. So I try to pick my battles.
And it's also like, I don't know this for a fact, but I like to think of it as somebody that's sitting at your desk. It's like, we're looking for something specific. And a lot of these providers are going to be at this conference. I'll go there. Or there's something emerging that I feel like we're slipping behind on. I need to go watch somebody present, whatever,
Yeah.
Beef up your Rolodex.
Yeah. So,
well, Gary, man, thank you. How do people follow you or connect with you? If you
I'm on LinkedIn, so I'm easy to find. I don't post as much content as I used to, but every once in a while, I have some thoughts I feel like I need to share.
You need to keep it going, man. Get some more out there. You don't have a lot to do, so go ahead and do that.
Yeah, maybe that's what I need AI for.
There it is.
Well, Gary, thanks, man.
Yeah, it was good seeing you guys. Good catch up.
Hope you enjoyed this conversation. If you did, please subscribe to the show. It helps us get out to more people like you. And if you know somebody or you're somebody that's a sharp marketer in automotive, please reach out to us. We'd love to feature you on the show. Reach out to Ashley at DealerOMG.com.